Imagine. One simple thought about ethics, family, and leadership. Yet it endured for over 2,500 years, shaping the thinking of a great civilization, and is still studied today. He wasn't a king. He wasn't a general who conquered continents. He wasn't even a founder of a religion with a miracle. Yet his name is now remembered by billions of people throughout history. This is the story of Confucius, or Fuzi, a teacher, philosopher, and moral thinker who changed the face of China forever. Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. I'm Rai, and in this video we'll explore the story of one of the most influential figures in world history. Confucius, also known as Fuzi, was a philosopher and teacher whose thoughts shaped Chinese civilization for over 2,000 years. Many people know him as the founder of moral and ethical teachings that are still taught today. But behind his famous quotes lies a much deeper life story. It's about the struggles of a thinker amidst political turmoil, about idealism that often clashes with power, and about a teacher who strives to instill human values in a world unprepared for them. So prepare yourselves, because today we'll delve into the life of Confucius. From his humble childhood in the state of Lu, his wanderings from one country to another, spreading moral teachings, to his lonely end, leaving behind a lasting legacy for the world. Here are the complete historical facts about Confucius. The teacher who taught that great change always begins with human character. Confucius was born in 551 BC in the state of Lu, a region now known as Qufu, Shandong Province, China. His given name was Q, while the title Fuzi means Master Kong. He was born during the Spring and Autumn period, an era of political turmoil when the Zhou dynasty began to lose control of its rival small states. His father He was an aging military aristocrat. He died when Confucius was about 3 years old, leaving Confucius and his mother Yan Zhengzai to live in simple and limited circumstances. From childhood, Confucius grew up without luxury, but instead developed a disciplined and independent character. In various classical accounts, the young Confucius is described as having a strong interest in the rituals, etiquette, and ancient traditions of the Zhou dynasty. He often imitated official ceremonies while playing, an early sign of his interest in social order. Due to economic constraints, he did not receive an aristocratic education, but instead learned independently through observation, work experience, and the reading of ancient texts. Entering adulthood around 530 BC, Confucius began working in various low-level positions such as warehouseman and herdsman. It was from these jobs that he learned the importance of honesty, responsibility, and order in daily life. He married at around 19 and had a son named Kong Li. During this period, Confucius began to be known as a teacher. What distinguished him from other teachers was his revolutionary views, which emphasized that education should not be reserved for the nobility. He accepted students from all social backgrounds, as long as they demonstrated a willingness to learn. This principle became the foundation of meritocratic education in China. In his teachings, Confucius emphasized values such as Ren, humanity, Li, manners and etiquette, and Xiao, filial piety. He believed that a harmonious society could only be built if individuals first possessed good character. It was during this period that disciples began to gather around him, and his teachings began to spread widely. Around 501 BC, At the age of approximately 50, Confucius finally had the opportunity to enter the political world in the state of Lu. He was appointed as a government official, even holding important positions in law and administration. In a short time, he succeeded in improving official discipline, reducing crime, and organizing the government based on moral principles. However, this success actually sparked jealousy among corrupt nobles. Confucius's teachings were perceived as threatening the interests of the elite, who had long enjoyed power without moral restraint. Political intrigue, slander, and pressure began to emerge. Confucius, adhering to his principles, ultimately chose to resign from his position around 497 BC. This decision marked a major turning point in his life. He realized that applying morality in politics was no easy task amidst a corrupted government. However, he chose not to give up on his teachings, instead taking the more difficult path of spreading his values directly to other rulers. For nearly 13 years, from approximately 497 BC to 484 BC, Confucius traveled from one country to another with his students. He visited states such as Wei, Song, Chen, Kai, and Chu, hoping to find rulers willing to implement his moral teachings in government. However, this journey was fraught with hardship. Confucius was often rejected, suspected, and even considered a political threat. In some historical accounts, he and his students went without food for days and lived in extremely difficult conditions. Despite this, Confucius maintained his composure and refused to sacrifice his principles for comfort. It was during this time of wandering that Confucius's steadfast character became increasingly evident. He taught that a Yunzi, a virtuous person, must remain steadfast even in the face of hardship. These travels reinforced his teachings and demonstrated that moral values were not always valued in his time. Around 484 BC, Confucius returned to the state of Lu in his advanced years. He no longer pursued political office, instead focusing his life on teaching and compiling an intellectual legacy. During this period, he often spent time with his students discussing history, ethics, and governance. Confucius is credited with editing and preserving classical texts such as the Shi Jing, Book of Poems, Shu Jing, Book of Documents, Li Ji, Book of Rites, and Chun Qiu, Records of Spring and Autumn. After his death, his teachings were compiled by his students in the Analects, Lunyu. Confucius died in 479 BC, at the age of approximately 72. He died without seeing his teachings widely implemented. However, centuries later, his thought would become the foundation of education, government, and ethics in China and East Asia for over 2 millennia. Confucius didn't leave behind a grand palace, nor a great empire. But he left behind something far more enduring, a way of thinking about being a good human being. He once said, "It doesn't matter how slowly you go as long as you don't stop." And more than 2 millennia later, those words still guide the world. This is Confucius, the teacher who taught that great change always begins with human character. Okay everyone, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons below to encourage me to create more content like this. Okay friends, I'm Rai, goodbye, see you in the next video.